This extremely high stakes, almost heart-stopping drama continues to unfold on the House floor as Kevin McCarthy did manage to flip 14 previous no votes, but again, on the 12th ballot, failed to lock down the speakership. I want to go back to Steve Kornacki at the big board because, Steve, there is an adjustment to be made in the numbers that is important as we look at the rest of the day.
Yeah, and as our ally Vitaly was reminding us off the air, for the first time, and you can see it in that scoreboard there, notice that Hakeem Jeffries finished with 211 votes. He's been getting 212 on all previous ballots. That's because for the first time, Democrats didn't have perfect attendance. David Trone of Maryland was not there, is not in the chamber. We already know there's 2 Republican absences as well. And remember, there is a vacant House seat. So what that means is that you have 400, let me get this pen going. You have 431 votes that were cast in this speaker's race. And you need 50% plus 1 to become speaker. So that sets a magic number. With this Constitution of the House, that sets a magic number of 216. Okay, 216. And Kevin McCarthy's finishing here with 213 on this ballot. So we've been saying 4. What he needs, 3. 3 of the 7 remaining holdouts, he needs to flip over and win over. If he can get them, he gets to 216. So again, he needs 3 from Andy Biggs, Lauren Boebert, Eli Crane, Matt Gaetz, Bob Good, Andy Harris, Matt Rosendale. That's the list he's operating under here. He needs 3 of them to flip, and he can hit that magic number today.
Bryan Kohberger nodded as the judge read each of the 4 murder charges against him.
And the maximum penalty for that offense, if you plead guilty or are found guilty, is death and/or imprisonment for life. Do you understand?
Yes.
The father of Kaylee Gonsalves spoke out after coming face to face with the suspect in court for the first time.
His demeanor was disheveled, beaten, surprised, overwhelmed. He didn't have the swagger that I think he thought he was going to have.
A newly unsealed affidavit details the evidence authorities used to connect the 28-year-old Washington State criminology doctoral student to the murders of 4 Idaho college students. Investigators say one of the 2 surviving roommates was woken by a noise and heard Kaylee Gonsalves say something like, "There's someone here." They say she then heard crying from Xana Coronato's room and a male voice saying, "It's okay. I'm going to help you." Documents say the roommate opened her door and stood frozen as a man wearing black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking toward her. She described him as 5'10" or taller, not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. The man left out the sliding glass door. What remains unclear is why 8 hours passed until someone called 911. Police believe Kohberger turned off his phone before the murders at 2:47 a.m. The phone dropped off the cell network near his home in Pullman, Washington, then reconnected at 4:48 a.m. near the crime scene just after the murders. Police mapped out his likely route to the house. They say cell phone data also pings Kohberger near the victim's home at least a dozen times before the murders and the morning after. It's unclear why he was near the home so often.
We have information of a white vehicle that was in the area.
By the time police had turned to the public for help finding the white Hyundai, Kohberger was already on their radar. An officer at Washington State had located his car and noted he had bushy eyebrows. 5 days after the murders, Kohberger changed his license plate from Pennsylvania to Washington. As they removed evidence from the Moscow, Idaho home, investigators now say they'd harvested DNA from an empty leather knife sheath found next to the bodies of Kaylee Gonsalves and Madison Mogen. And as they closed in on Kohberger, police say that DNA matched DNA from Kohberger's father, which they collected from trash outside the family's Pennsylvania home.
As the investigation continues, police have still not revealed a motive in the case. Kohberger is due back in court next Thursday.
The House wrapped up its 13th vote, ballot number 13, and they, again, did not elect a Speaker of the House. No one got enough votes. Right now, they are all voting on a motion to adjourn. That is, it's the motion right now being voted on. Let's get right to CNN's Manu Raju. Manu, we've been doing the math, and it seems like the task will be much easier for Kevin McCarthy to become the speaker if these two House Republicans, Buck and Hunt, who are absent right now for personal reasons, if they return. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, this is exactly why the House is voting to adjourn right now, to give time for those members to return. I'm told Ken Buck in particular has a flight arriving back into Washington around 9 p.m., so they plan to come back at 10 p.m. That would give Kevin McCarthy 2 additional votes. Now, that doesn't mean that he will get there. There's already a furious effort underway right now to get the other remaining holdouts, the two most viewed as gettable, Matt Rosendale of Montana and Elijah Crane. He's an incoming Republican member as well. Both of them are being lobbied by the membership, by the top leaders to break ranks. And I'm told that the concerns that they have raised are political. Crane, in particular, is concerned that if he backs McCarthy, this could hurt him in a potential primary bid in the next cycle. Also, I'm told about Rosendale. Mr. McCarthy, do you think you'll have the votes to be elected Speaker tonight?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
And you'll be able to flip Rosendale and Crane?
I'll have the votes.
What are their concerns?
Because I count.
So there you have it. He said yes, he's got the votes to become elected Speaker, if you're still with me here, Jake.
Yep.
He says he has the votes. Tonight he has the votes to be elected Speaker. That is news. He has not been saying that so far. In fact, for some time, Kevin McCarthy has been saying that it's unclear when he would be elected Speaker. There's no time frame. That's what he said last night. That's what he said this morning. But now you have Kevin McCarthy saying that tonight he will have the votes to be elected Speaker of the House. And that would mean that he had to flip some members somehow, some way. Those remaining holdouts, as we're talking about Elijah Crane as well as his incoming freshman, Matt Rosendale of Montana, both of them had expressed concerns about the politics of supporting Kevin McCarthy. Crane concerned about the potential primary impacts he could have in the next election cycle. Rosendale is eyeing a potential Senate run in Montana. He wants to stay to the right of any potential opponent there. One of the Montana potential opponent there, Ryan Zinke, also an incoming member, is supporting McCarthy. So there you get some of the sense of the politics there. But McCarthy doesn't seem too concerned. I just asked him about Rosendale and Crane. As you heard, he didn't really quite say how he's planning to get those members. But there are lots of different scenarios in which he can get there. Some may vote present to lower the voting threshold, and then getting these two members back who support McCarthy are essential. But right there, Kevin McCarthy believes that after all these failed ballots, one after the other, this historic speaker's race, more than 100 years here, that he will finally get the votes to be elected Speaker. After we've seen it's been 100 years since we have multiple ballots in an election, Kevin McCarthy feels he's there tonight.
That's right, Manu Raju. It is huge news and a very lucky Friday the 13th for Kevin McCarthy as of right now. Not just luck, obviously, a lot of wheeling and dealing and negotiating. Right now, Kevin McCarthy is within grasp of the House speakership. He has 214 votes. He only needs to flip 2 rebels of the remaining 6.
Less than a week into the new year, and we are following, though, this new coronavirus subvariant, which is spreading around the country.
That's right. XBB 1.5 is a spin-off of the Omicron variant and is gaining traction fast. Now, according to the CDC, this subvariant accounted for more than 40% of cases in the U.S. last week. That number has doubled from the previous week. Joining us now is Dr. Celine Gounder. She is an editor-at-large for public health at Kaiser Health News. She's also an infectious disease specialist and epidemiologist and a CBS News medical contributor. Dr. Gounder, welcome. So those numbers are certainly eye-popping when you see that spread. What can you tell us about this new subvariant, and how does it compare to previous variants?
What we're seeing with this XBB 1.5, I know it's a mouthful,
yes.
New subvariant, it's an Omicron subvariant. The main differences are twofold. One, it is more immune evasive, which means it's better at dodging your immune system, which means it's that much more important to stay up to date with your vaccinations, particularly if you're somebody who's elderly, over 65, if you're immunocompromised, if you're pregnant, which is a form of immunosuppression. You really need to stay up to date with your boosters to stay protected against this new variant. The second difference that we're seeing with XBB 1.5 is that it binds cells more tightly, which means it infects cells more efficiently than prior variants did. And that just means it's more easily transmitted from person to person.
I was going to ask who's most at risk, but you mentioned there, folks who are pregnant, the vulnerable, those who are immunocompromised should go ahead and get vaccinated. So we'll clear that for a moment. But what Dr. Jha said about China stood out to me in that it's not sharing its genomic surveillance data, which means that it's the blueprint for what they're finding, and it helps doctors here figure out the vaccines to match it. Is there any reason to be concerned that we have a new variant and there's not as much data being shared than we would hope?
I do think it's concerning that China is not being transparent about its genomic surveillance testing and data. We really do need that kind of information to better understand how the virus is evolving. Global health, we say global for a reason, because infectious diseases do not respect borders. They will spread around the world. There are some initiatives now to do testing on wastewater in planes, for example, and other kinds of testing for travelers. We might be seeing testing at airports, something I've actually suggested myself before, which would be other ways to supplement the testing we have here in the United States.
So what is the best defense, doctor, when it comes to this subvariant? Because, over the holiday break, I talked to friends and relatives who told me, I got the vaccine, I got a booster, and I think I'm done now. I don't think I necessarily need to have the latest bivalent. They're not paying attention as closely. They feel as though they have some level of protection, and they're fine with that. What would you say, and again, underscoring what we know right now with the subvariant and the effectiveness of the bivalent booster?
Well, all of the measures we've talked about in the past, the masks, the tests, the treatments, most of that still works. The main caveat there is that the monoclonal antibodies that we used to treat COVID, those don't work anymore. So we do have some vulnerabilities there. But masks still work, the tests still work, Paxlovid still work. And then the other thing I would say with respect to vaccination is that if you're somebody who's young and healthy, do you always need to be getting the latest booster? Maybe not. But if you are elderly, if you are immunocompromised, if you are pregnant, absolutely, please stay up to date with these vaccinations. If you haven't yet gotten your bivalent booster, please do so as soon as possible.
Really good advice, Dr. Celine Gounder. Thank you.